Minds up, minds up. Hello, world. It's your girl, Takiyah Diamond. And I want to thank you for being here with me tonight, tuning in on this live, trying to get your mind right because you know that's what I'm here for, to help you snap out of it and step into your greatness, right? So tonight we're going to talk about something so deep where a lot of people hate to really answer these questions. Some people hate to ask the question, how do I know when it's over? Like really, really over. Because, we have a tendency to like go back, try again, knowing that it ain't going to work anyway, but we still go back, try again, and all that other stuff, right? So anyway, we'll get into that. We'll get into the repetition of how your mind is operating in the midst of this, okay? So, at the end of the day, we still want to bring it back to mindset so we can understand, how we created these situations that we are in with relationships and, how it doesn't have to be bitter. It doesn't have to be the end of the world. It's the end of the relationship, but it's not the end of the world. And, we just have to be grateful for what we learned. So if you don't know me and this is your first time tuning in, I am your girl, Takiyah Diamond. High vibe entrepreneur. And what I do is I actually help people change their lives by helping them to identify and eliminate their limiting beliefs that have been keeping their success hostage, including you. So if that's you and you feel like you've been struggling, trying to figure out what do you need to do to just move on to the next level of your life, I'll let you go. I'm pretty sure I can help you out. And if I can't, trust me, I am surrounded by a ton of coaches who can definitely deliver exactly what it is that you need to help you step into the next level of your life. All right, so I am a personal development author. I'm a mindset coach, life coach. I help you create success and accountability plans. I'm a transformational speaker. I am a trainer and many, 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 many other gifts. You know what I mean? Just a whole lot of wonderfulness that I utilize to actually give back and to help other people grow and to help people excel in life, because that's what it's about. It's not about you just coming here, dealing with all of the drama and just kicking the bucket, if you get my drift. It's about you coming here and creating a life that you want to live. That's what it's really about. But that's a whole nother story, because that's really mindset, which is totally my lane. But tonight we're talking specifically in regards to relationships. How do you know when it's time to let go? All right. So one thing is true, right? When it's time to let a relationship go, it seems like it's the hardest thing to do, even though it's the best thing to do. It's like, all the signs are there that prove to you that whatever you could have learned from the person that you were with is done. Like, you really can't learn so much more from this person on this journey we call life. All right. So when you get to that place, sometimes the reason why it's so hard for you to do is because you're so used to this person and you've been with this person for a while, or whatever the case may be, and you've grown accustomed to their ways, and the last thing you want to do is like really go get to know somebody else all over again. What if this person doesn't do this, doesn't do that? It's like, right? Your mind's like running all over the place. You just really, at the end of the day, you end up kind of feeling like, I'd rather just be by myself than deal with the BS, right? But why is that? What has brought you, me, the people in the world, humanity, to that place, to that mindset of believing that we're supposed to settle, believing that we really don't have no say-so or no control of the outcomes in our lives, when it's really just a matter of taking responsibility of recognizing the experience for what the experience is with you and the person that you're with. And also being wise enough to understand that if it's time to let the relationship go, there's no need to hold on to something that is no longer growing. So like if you had a garden and you keep planting collard greens in this plain dirt and the collard greens are not growing, are you going to continue to keep planting seeds there? If no matter season after season, it's not growing, are you going to continue to plant there? No. So it's the same thing in relationships, guys. If you're going to plant seeds in something that really has no room for growth, then what's the purpose of being in the relationship? You are better off being by yourself. Maybe because once you learn to love you, then that way you can attract somebody who's in alignment with you rather than trying to force yourself to be in a relationship because society says you're supposed to be in one. Some people are better off and more progressive when they don't have the headache that relationships come with sometimes. Because you have to be in a place to where you completely understand your mate. And if you don't understand his history, you don't understand his childhood, and you don't know anything that happened up until you got with him, then you're going to be in for a rude awakening anyway. Very soon or sooner than later. You're going to start to notice things that you didn't notice in the beginning. And you're going to feel some kind of way. And you're going to be like, whoa. Pump your brakes, right? So tonight I'm going to talk to you guys briefly about how to know that it's over. Because, you know, sometimes we tell ourselves yes when we know that it's over. And we try to convince ourselves like, yeah, this is the right thing. But is it right? You know, sometimes we have a challenge with being real with ourselves. And so I'm just going to kind of, you know, bring it to you in a way by with giving you some things that you'll be able to identify, that you'll be able to write down, that you'll be able to, I don't want to say judge because that's not the word, but evaluate. That's the word. You'll be able to evaluate whether this relationship is lifting you up or holding you back. And that will help you identify it seriously from a deep core level when it's time to go. All right. So the first thing that happens is you realize that your relationship isn't really what it used to be, right? You're going from having all these cute little butterflies and feeling all giggly about the relationship and all this other cute stuff, right? And then all of a sudden you dread that person coming in the door. What happened, right? Like what happened from here to here, right? So it's tough to admit, of course, you know, that your relationship is over or that it might be over and you're trying to figure it all out. And, you know, and you might even think that the relationship is going through a phase, and it could be going through a phase, but it may not be going through a phase. Maybe it could have had its time and it might have had its phase already, but you could be very well in denial of the phase being over, right? But there are a few key things that, you know, you can utilize that actually signal that signal when the relationship is over, or like when it's about to be over or close to it, or whatever the case may be. All right. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take a quick moment, whether you do it mentally or whether you write it out. I want you to record, and I want you to think about how often do you fight with your mate or your significant other, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, husband, wife, boo, stink, whatever. How often do you fight with them? Right? Now, let's not make no mistake, guys, because we know that fighting can actually be a healthy thing in a relationship, right? Because it kind of like allows you guys to like get your opinions out of your system, and I feel like this and you feel like that and blah blah blah, and then you know what, you hold each other in each other's arms later and nobody remembers anybody's opinions anymore, right? So Excuse me. Excuse me. But if you're fighting consistently, like over and over and over all the time, and it's usually about the same stuff, then the relationship is probably headed to Splitsville. All right. If most of your time is actually engaged in fights with the person, who wants to be in a relationship like that? And if you're in a relationship like that, then you need to stop and you need to ask yourself, where am I not loving me? Because if you give all your energy away and somebody comes and you allow them to take all your life force, you can't possibly love you if you allowing this person to take your whole joy, your whole happiness, your whole life force. You was at work, you was perfectly fine. You get home now, you feel like, oh boy, here I go. Like something's wrong with that picture. So if you start feeling like that and you start noticing things like that, then I just gotta be real that the relationship is probably gonna be over really soon, right? You got to think about it. If you're picking fights over little stuff, or you're doing things for attention, or even if your mate is doing things for attention, or lashing out, or looking for things to lash out, to blame you and point at you for all of the stuff that have been wrong in their life way before you came in the picture. Male and females do it. Go both ways. I'm not talking one way here. I'm talking both ways, right? That could be a sign that it's the end, that you're getting towards the end. All right. And then another thing is leaving an argument with, being resentful, being bitter, feeling angry, and all that other stuff. All right. Okay. Are we going to bump heads sometimes? Yes, we're going to bump heads sometimes. However, like, we could make up. You get what I'm saying? Like, it don't have to stay that way where you go all the way into the morning, and now when you answer the phone, because one of y'all gonna end up calling each other, hey, and then you got to answer the phone and ask her, what? Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. So, like, if you're getting to that point, yes, your relationship is about to be over. Okay? The second thing that I want you to do is I want you to observe how often you discuss your feelings with each other. All right. One important part of a relationship, guys, is, understanding your own needs, but also being able to understand your mate's feelings and needs at the same time, which can be pretty challenging because it's like, you're working already to try to figure your own self out and then to try to be able to understand somebody else's. But if you're able to actually work on that and communicate with each other, then maybe you could understand each other from a better level. Like me, I don't like to be questioned 20,000 times. What I'm doing, where I'm going, don't question me. If you know I don't like being questioned, don't question me. Now, if I told you, I was going to call or something like that, and, worry because you're not sure if I got home safe, that's one thing. But to ask me to where and when's, how's, and all that stuff, like I'm in a court of law and like I did something wrong, like I'm a criminal or whatever, and that's something that I can't take. It drives me nuts. You know what I mean? So I think that each one of us has something that actually drives us nuts, that somebody does, right? So, if you feel, now that's just my feelings on that. Now, it could be, and guys, I'm just using this as an example. I'm not talking about my personal life, like, like that's what's happening. I'm just generally speaking, all right? But I don't like to be questioned. I don't care who it is. I just don't like to be asked 10,000 questions. But if maybe your mate could be different. Maybe your mate could be the type of person that, likes to tell you where she is all the time or where he is all of the time so that you don't have a reason to worry or whatever the case may be. If you guys can communicate your feelings on that level, maybe there could be some type of compromise. Maybe don't ask her where she's going 10,000 times. You know what I mean? Keep a limit on it, and don't do it every day, because if you do it every day, she's gonna become overwhelmed, and then she's gonna dread picking up your phone calls. And yes, then that means the relationship is gonna be close to being over. All right, so if he communicates his feelings or she communicates her feelings, that she deals with it in a different way, and she's more like, she wants to tell you, just, you guys got to communicate and have that understanding that you guys just see things a little bit differently, so maybe she can ask a little more often, like, is everything okay, or whatever the case may be. But if you communicate that with each other, then you guys can come to a solution, right? But if you're not aware of how your partner is feeling, then the relationship is likely on the rocks. If you don't have no idea what your mate is thinking or how he's feeling about certain things in the relationship, or how she's feeling about certain things in the relationship, then it's a rocky road. It could go either way. You get what I'm saying? So, one thing to remember, guys, is that failure it actually, like, it could start small, you know what I'm saying, and then it builds up to maybe y'all not talking every day. When you come in the house, y'all walk past each other, little stuff like that, you know what I mean. Sometimes it starts by not even saying, like, oh, well, how was your day today? And then maybe it starts right there. Y'all don't do that as much anymore, and so now, because y'all don't do that as much anymore, it's like now y'all just don't really talk about much of nothing anymore. You get what I'm saying? So if you start to feel that and you start to notice that, then your relationship is probably on the way out the door. All right? If you find yourself not listening to your partner, not wanting to hear what they have to say, and then maybe they don't even want to hear what you got to say either. It could go both ways. I'm not being prejudiced here. I'm not being for the guys. I'm not being for the girls. I'm genuinely speaking as a whole. All right. If you find yourself, not listening to your partner, or your partner is not listening to you when you talk, then you guys are not communicating effectively. Nobody's going to get nowhere if everybody's talking at the same time. So if every time y'all have a conversation, one person is trying to overtalk the other person, then that relationship is like, it's headed down the road. Nobody can get their point across if both of y'all talking at the same time, because there's no listener. There's no listener. Communication takes two people. There has to be a speaker and it has to be a listener. But if there's just, somebody who's just always yapping, then that y'all not communicating. What y'all doing is just yelling at each other's necks and nothing is getting accomplished. So if it boils down to that, and that is where you are, excuse me, I'm recording. If that is where you are and you get into that level of it, then you have to completely understand that it's probably headed for Splitsville. Okay? So, you want to pay attention to that. Now, number 3 is I want you to notice, how y'all talk about the future together. Right? I know I'm guilty of this, and that's probably why I'm laughing about it. I've had my share of not really wanting to talk about my future if I don't believe that there's really a future with the person. And when I'm coaching, other people, and I'm talking to them and I'm building with them, we run into the same thing. We run into the same thing where, they know that there's no future with the other person. And so it's like to ask them questions about, going in that direction. It's, it becomes a little touchy to really talk about, because you don't really know what to say, right? So that's a sign as well that your relationship is actually headed for Splitsville, right? So refusing to discuss what the future holds, what you guys are going to do together, how you guys are going to plan together, it's just an avoidance technique at the end of the day. That's what it is. It's you trying to avoid, or the other person trying to avoid dealing with something that they really don't want to face, which is that the relationship is about to be over. I'm just keeping it 100. That maybe the relationship has some potential, but they don't believe in it enough. And if you don't believe in something enough, then you're going to get the opposite as the result. Because that's the way that the mind works. Whether it's relationships, whether it's your finances, whether whatever it is, your career, your success, what it is that you're trying to achieve in your life, same thing. Works exactly the same way, right? So you got to think about it. Like if you've been with this person for a long time, there's never been a conversation about marriage, nothing about children, whether they want children, whether they don't want children, whatever the case may be, then you might want to consider that might not be the person for you, especially if you want children and they don't, or they want children and you don't. It doesn't mean that the person is a bad person. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means that you guys are in two different places in life. And so you guys are going to always clash. And somebody's going to be feeling neglected in some area. Whether it's her having the kids, knowing that she didn't want to have no more, but he's happy, but she's miserable, or the opposite, where he wants the kid, or maybe he doesn't want the kid, but she wants kids. She ends up pregnant, and now he feels like, oh boy, here's a whole nother glob of responsibility. I'm already trying to figure out, how to make her happy, and now I got to deal with her and a baby. I'm just saying, these are some of the things that go through people's mind. I talk about all of this stuff in my books, especially the book Get Your Life Together. Get Your Life Together is an incredible guide to really, really helping you open your eyes and seeing the light and the truth, and how you even got stuck or even attracted those type of relationships. All right. I think I said earlier about, if you don't respond to maybe invitations to parties and stuff like that, because you're just really not sure how long y'all going to even be together. You don't accept them because you don't want to be like, oh, me and John, or me and, Anika, we're not together anymore. And, you don't want to talk about it. You don't want to say it because you don't want to go there. And then you don't want everybody asking about your relationship. That's kind of non-existent now, so that's important. All right. And so number 4, I want you to consider level of verbal communication that the two of you have. Okay. How often, do you guys talk? Do you guys pass back and forth sweet nothings, or did that change? Is that the way that it was, but then all of a sudden it went in another direction? Is that what happened? Because that too could mean what? That the relationship is headed for Splitsville. Okay. And so you want to pay attention to these things that I'm sharing with you today, right? Affectionate communication, guys, is an important part of developing and sustaining a healthy relationship. So if you don't have a effective communication, then there's not really no relationship. It's like it's just two people who's there, and nobody's growing anywhere. Nobody's going anywhere because what? They can't. Because they're no longer a vibrational match for one another. But they don't want to accept that. But you do more damage by staying in the relationship rather than letting it go, so that they couldn't attract and be with somebody who's a match to them, and you could let go and attract somebody who's more of a vibrational match to you. Right? All right. So if you notice, like, maybe he doesn't compliment you anymore, or, maybe she doesn't, or he doesn't send the the sweet I love yous and all of that stuff anymore, or whatever. And trust me, I mean, you don't have to overdo it with the I love yous. I know I'm different. Anyway, this isn't about me. Yes, you want to hear I love you, but don't over analyze it because the person doesn't say I love you every single day. Okay? All right. And then the last thing, guys, is I want you to notice how you talk about your partner to your friends or to other people. Okay. So, people that are in healthy relationships or happy relationships, they always got good things to talk about when it comes to their relationships, right? They're excited to share all of the positive things that happen in their relationship. Oh, yeah, we went down to Myrtle Beach. We had the crab fest, but we got on a yacht. We had dinner, right? People who are in healthy relationships, that's the way that they talk or that they speak about their relationships, right? They always talk about all of the positive attributes or accomplishments of their mate. Oh, do you know that she's accomplishing this? Oh, did you know that he's accomplishing that? It's like they're proud that this is their mate, right? That this is the person that they chose and this person makes them happy, right? But when you're speaking negatively about your partner, when you're with your friends, it's truthfully a sign that the relationship is in distress, and your friends can tell. So, 2 days later, when you're trying to pretend like it's all good, ain't nothing wrong, your friends know. I'm just saying. All right. So, when you're speaking negatively, again, about, your partner and stuff in front of your friends, it signifies like that you lost respect for the person, and that it also indicates that there's bigger issues in your relationship that you might even let them know. Maybe you're in a relationship that's an abusive relationship that it's time to let go, but maybe you don't know how to let go. So maybe you didn't tell your friends that part, but you're just telling them, oh, he gets on my nerves. I'm tired of seeing him, blah, 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 blah. You understand what I'm saying? So that's when it's time to hit the road. That's another sign that the relationship is ending. It's coming to an end. It's who was that? Sing that song, I Just Want It to Be Over. Oh, Keisha Cole. I just want it to be over, right? That's how you feel. So when you feel like you just want it to be over, chances are the relationship is already over. You're just kind of like carrying a title, but the relationship is already finished. Okay. So, I want to make note that, there's a difference between telling a close friend about, a situation that you and your boyfriend might have, or you and your girlfriend might have. But then there's a completely another situation when every single day, that's all you talk about is everything that's going wrong. He this, she this. That's another sign that your relationship is going down the drain. All right. And so, of course, guys, I know. I'm pretty sure that there are way more reasons, and I want you to tell me in the chat box other reasons that you feel and how we could know that the relationship is over. What didn't I mention? What have you experienced? What's been your experience in your relationships? What did you go through personally to where it really, really got you to that point to where you knew it was over, but you just kind of didn't want to let go, right? So we shared tonight, guys, 5 ways that, little signals for you to know that it's the end. It's the end. But it doesn't mean that it's the end of your life. This is just the beginning. This is just you, beginning to learn new things, to explore new areas of life with new people and new things and new places and all of that wonderful stuff. Does it hurt? Yes. But does it help to stick back in the past, in a time that no longer exists? No. Just be grateful for the lessons that you learned, grow through it and get over it. It's all good. All right. So minds up, y'all. I love you. I love you. I love you. Make sure you get yourself one of the copies of one of my books. Get your life together. 7 things you need to change your life, or Wisdom Words of Consciousness. And I have another great, powerful book coming up, which you guys know next week we're going to be working on money mindset, right? Once we start working on money mindset, I'm going to be helping you in a whole nother way. All right. And so that book that's coming up for you guys is From Poverty to Profit. Woo! Yes, From Poverty to Profit. So that book is really going to be teaching you the elements of the economy, the elements of understanding money, what money really is. I'm going to be teaching you the art of manifestation so that you align with money. We're gonna touch on this from a ground level, and then also but I'm gonna take you into the spiritual level so that you can really have clarity in understanding your financial abundance. I'm gonna have some questions coming up so that you guys could tell me what you want, being that I'm putting together the money mindset course. So you got to let me know. Let me know what you want to know. What barriers do you need to break through? But don't do that right here. We'll be back on a Q&A in just 3 minutes, okay? Y'all know how we do. We come back for the Q&A. I read over your comments, answer your questions, and all that beautiful stuff, all right? And make it happen. Yes. It's your time to shine. If the relationship is over, it's all good, because you know what it means? A new one that's even better is on the way. Mine's out. Visit the website, www.takiyyahdiamond.com. Make sure you click that button on notifications so that you can be notified whenever I go live. And please, share this live for the life of me, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay? All right, guys. I love you. I see you in 3 minutes and 3 seconds. Back on live for the Q&A. Mine's up. It's your girl, Takiyah Diamond. Deuces.